Alright, hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video we're going to be talking about Square stock and my opinions on it. We'll run through all the different growth factors as usual, run through the numbers, and I'll give you my opinion on what I'm doing in regards to this stock. So let's just run through what Square actually is and the couple of revenue streams that they have. So first of all, they're a point of sale system. So that means you see these little machines here. So these little point of sale systems here, as you can see, allow small to medium sized businesses to accept payments from customers. It's much more simple and you can just track it all in your phone. It's much more simple than using the traditional methods of point of sale systems. So Square are disrupting a huge number of industries. So you can process payments if you're an SMB, you can do your wages, you get some limited banking services, and you can track, if you have multiple shops, you can track it all within one app on your phone. So it's really simple and easy to use. And if you're using all those services, it turns out to be a good bit cheaper than using all the different traditional methods. So they also have the CashUp, Square Capital, and you can also set up, if you have a website and you sell stuff on a website, you can also accept payments using Square. So as I mentioned, they're kind of mainly focused at SMBs at the moment. So that means small to medium-sized businesses, retail and restaurants, so like cafes that aren't huge, big companies, just kind of, one guy running a cafe doesn't want to have to, just wants to quickly be able to set up, instantly be able to accept payments and have it all tracked out and easy to do for their accounts. So these kind of places are going to be hit hard due to COVID-19. Well, they're all shut at the moment, so obviously that means Square isn't getting any transaction fees, or they're going to stop all their subscriptions to Square in the meantime while their restaurants are closed or their shops are closed. So that's obviously going to give a big impact on Square's earnings and revenue. So I'm hoping that could present a buying opportunity for Square in the near future, because I am a long-term investor. Okay, let's just quickly run through their numbers to give you an overview of Square's balance sheet and their earnings and everything. So they achieved profitability a couple of years ago, so their PE is obviously sky high. It's kind of a hot stock at the moment in a hot industry, so that's why the PE is crazy at the moment. So we're always kind of looking for value, but this is obviously a growth stock. So yeah, that gives them a price to sales of 4.6 with a PEG ratio of 2.1. 77% held by institutions, which I don't really like to see. I prefer lower amount of institutions, but for a growth stock like this, it's obviously going to be held by a lot of institutions. At least something is held by insiders. It's not zero, at least. So this is their revenue growth. You can see 30%, 50%, 42% growth, and the revenue 1.7, 2.7, 4.7 billion. And this is the projections because of COVID-19. We can see they're getting a 50% drop in their expected revenue. And you can see their net income here. Obviously their net revenue is going to take a huge hit. So it's 50% less. And then it's going to start recovering after a few years. So the earnings per share this year was $6.4, and next year it's fuck all pretty much. So let's quickly go over their balance sheet. So they've steadily been accumulating cash, which is good to see. Their long-term debt is gone from 0 up to $1 billion. So they have more cash than long-term debt, which is good. More assets than total assets than current liabilities, which is also good. So their balance sheet is looking good. They have cash minus long-term debt of 1.2 billion. So the reason that their cash increased by a significant amount, they sold a company for $500 million, so that really helped their balance sheet. We'll go through that later anyway. Yeah, so revenue, gross profit up 40% year over year, which is great. Their CashUp is growing really fast, and I'm more interested in personally, I'm more interested in the user growth than the revenue growth for the Cash App. I think they should kind of play it like the way Facebook played it, and just work on getting as many users as possible, and then turn on the earning potential after they've got everyone on board, because it's a network effect. I have a full slide on the Cash App, so don't worry, we'll keep going. So yeah, customer growth is more important. So their seller ecosystem generated 3.5 billion, 30% growth, which is good growth. But for a PE of 60, I'd like to see a little bit better growth, or the PE needs to come down a bit. But at least they're a profitable company, which is nice. Alright, Square Capital. So when I own a shop and I use Square and my business is doing well and making a lot of sales, Square will see that. They have all the data about all my transactions, how much staff I have, how many sales I'm getting a day, blah blah blah, how much money I'm making. And if they see, oh, this guy's making a nice profit, they automatically just offer me a loan of just a few thousand, like not enough that a usual SMB would go to a bank for, but they might need just a few thousand to do some quick maintenance in the shop or something simple. So Square can see all the data about that business and will offer a loan in the app. So you're getting a customer acquisition. It's free because you already have the customer, which is great. So let's just quickly look at a clip of Jack Dorsey talking about who Square Capital is kind of marketing to.
Jack, thanks so much for joining us and for having us here today.
Thank you.
At Square headquarters. I should mention we're here to talk about Square and not Twitter. So when it comes to earnings, you beat on every measure. You raised your forecast. Where is most of the growth coming from?
In our core business. I mean, that's what we're most proud of, is like we continue to build a business that scales. We're reaching more of our small businesses, more of our independent contractors, and we're seeing more and more larger sellers as well. And I think one of our biggest differentiators in the market is we're self-serve. Anyone can come to us and just get started right away, and we're seeing that at every scale, from the small to the very large. So that's really the core. And then Square Capital just continues to be something that we're really proud of. And as I said on the call, we realized recently that we're not really competing with financial institutions and banks and traditional lenders. Our average loan size is $6,000, so we're competing with people going to their friends and family and ask for a loan, and that's a massive market. So we continue to innovate within that space, but it's just like it's got great fundamentals to it, and it's something that continues to be attractive to all of our Square sellers.
Okay, so yeah, you can get a little overview of how Jack Dorsey thinks about Square. He's the CEO. So helping out these small businesses that Square provides their services for also helps Square, because if that business is earning more money, Square gets more transaction fees, higher transaction fees, more staff, which is more money for Square. So on top of giving them the loan, which helps the company, they're also incurring more transaction fees. So it's like a compound interest for Square Capital. So it's a really interesting little business model there. Okay, so the Cash App, I'm from Ireland, and in Ireland we don't have the Cash App or Square, but we have similar ones. So I'm just kind of talking from experience of the ones that are kind of rip-offs of Cash App and Square. But Cash App is basically you can send money to your friends quickly and easy in an app on your phone using your phone number, and it's a network effect. So the more people have it, the more people they'll in turn force to get. So for example, if 3 of us or 4 of us have gone out for dinner and we want to split the bill, we can easily do it in the Cash App, but only 3 of us have it. So the fourth person is very much inclined to download it after that. So it's easy marketing. Obviously the transfers are free, so Cash App aren't making any money off those transfers. It's the other they have other ways they're making money in the Cash App. We'll get into that. So I'm not too, as I mentioned, I'm not too interested in the revenue, but it's going crazy. The revenue up 157 year over year, and the gross profit up 135%. But yeah, I'm more interested in this, the daily active users. So they do have some competition, but still pretty untapped market, still less than 10% of the US. And if they expand into other countries, there's still plenty of space, plenty of potential customers in waiting lines. Yeah, so their revenue per customer is doubled. Because this is such a fast growing company, I'm more interested in revenue rather than earnings, because I'm expecting all the extra money to be pumped back into the business to help it grow at the moment. So with these growing companies, I'm usually more interested in revenue growth than earnings growth, but it is earning a good bit of money anyway. So CashUp is making money, which is kind of impressive for such a fast growing company in these times. So yeah, a loss leader basically means, like, because they're not making money from doing these free transactions for people, so they're losing money on that because it costs a little tiny bit to process those transactions. But they're getting all these people on the Cash App, and when you're on the Cash App, you can invest in shares, you can buy Bitcoin. Yeah, obviously there's competition in the investing space, but you make money from the spread. Let's see, Venmo is their competition. So yeah, Venmo is more social. I kind of prefer the sound of the Cash App. I haven't tried either of them, obviously, because we have Revolut in Ireland. It's a UK company. But yeah, you can see what other people are buying in Venmo, but I don't see why you'd want to see that. Apparently the customer service is better in Venmo, but if you're going after a younger crowd, you probably don't need amazing customer service. Yeah, you can do semi-anonymous transactions using your cash tag rather than your name, which is cool. You can trade Bitcoin. You can get your paycheck directly into the Cash App. Oh yeah, this was the company I mentioned earlier that they sold. So it's a food delivery service, and they sold it to DoorDash for 410 million, and they bought it a few years earlier for 90 million. So made a nice bit of money off it, and it's a really competitive industry, so it's a great idea to just get rid of it. They have enough going on. They have enough growth vehicles in their Square and Cash App. They didn't need to take that on. It's super competitive at the moment. There's plenty of fish in the sea there, so I don't think this would have got to profitability. Caviar wouldn't have got to profitability by itself, so it's definitely the right decision in my opinion. So yeah, they got cash, and they also got some preferred DoorDash stock. So now they're kind of partnered with the Cash App, DoorDash are. So that's a win-win for both companies. DoorDash gets to take out some competition and gets their customers. And obviously Square gets money. Alright, their original guidance was 5.9 billion for 2020, which is 25% year over year, which obviously we saw has been changed because of the coronavirus. So this is kind of the numbers we'll be looking at once the coronavirus, probably 2021. I'd say the SMBs will be back to close to their original earnings. So Square will get back to this kind of level in 2021. I don't think it'll last longer than a year before those shops open back up. Yeah, so the Cash App and Square, like, for a bank to acquire one of those customers, they're willing to spend thousands, because that's how much they'll earn from. If I'm a member of a bank, I'm likely to get my mortgage there. If I own a business, I'm likely to get loans from that bank to get my business set up. And if I want a loan to buy a car or whatever, I'm usually going to go to my own bank. So banks are willing to spend thousands to get a customer. But Square and the Cash App is getting customers for a few $100s. So when they start rolling out these kind of features, more banking services as time goes on, you can really see where Square and Cash App can really start earning crazy money. And like, potentially if this all works out well, then Square could be highly undervalued at the moment, even with its PE ratio of 60, because it's really going after this huge industry. But as we saw, he's not directly competing with a bank, but he kind of is. So yeah, the CEO, if you don't know, is Jack Dorsey, who also is the CEO of Twitter. He was fired from Twitter actually, and Twitter started doing so badly without him, they had to bring him back, beg him to come back. But yeah, he's an incredibly smart man, incredible CEO. He's a big believer in Bitcoin, and so why do I mention that? Well, obviously you can buy and sell Bitcoin in the CashUp, but there is speculation that if Bitcoin becomes like, Jack Dorsey maybe in the back of his mind thinks, oh, if cryptocurrencies take over or people start using them frequently, he might have CashUp be the secondary solution to using Bitcoin to buy your coffee or whatever. So that would be a huge market, but obviously, who knows if that'll happen. That's a bit of a pipe dream. One of the last things I want to talk about, why I really think CashUp is very clever, and Square, their marketing in the correct way for their marketing is excellent in the current environment. They're really marketing to the low cost but highly effective modern marketing techniques. So you always hear if you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, the podcast, I listen to a lot of it. They're sponsored by the Cash App, and that's just like has a huge following. And yeah, maybe it's obviously a lot of money to sponsor it, but in comparison to TV ads and magazine ads, etc., it's not. It's nothing for the exposure that he's getting. Also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, blah blah blah. Even went viral on TikTok. Like, what companies, what banks are advertising on TikTok? None. So, and TikTok's huge. It's like crazy amount of users, and they like sponsor Twitch. You know, the gaming streaming website. Like, they're going after the younger generation. So this was really smart the way they're marketing. They're going after the millennials and Generation Z, and those two generations, like, they're not nowhere near their earnings potential yet. So they're just starting to make money. While the millennials are just starting to come into the workforce now, but their high earnings years have barely started. So if Jack Dorsey can get all the millennials and Generation Z onto the Cash App and Square using that, it's 5-10 years down the road when the earnings are really going to be switched on. So I've just done a very off the cuff, a napkin scribble of a fair value, but obviously we have to take into account that tech companies are very rarely fair valued. So I've given the current revenue, 5 billion, 30% growth for the next 5 years, which probably won't happen because of the coronavirus, but we're just giving it off the cuff. It was projected 35%, so I've done 30%. So that gives us a price to sales ratio. We want a price to sales ratio of 1, which is kind of a fair value, very off the cuff fair value for most companies. That gives the market cap in 5 years of 18.5 billion. And we know the current market cap is 20 billion, so the fair value in 5 years with 30% of growth will be 18.5 billion. So obviously it's overvalued, very highly overvalued. So it should be 20 billion in 5 years, not now, if you're using this valuation. Although, like, the company's still going to be overvalued in 5 years, I reckon, if the growth keeps going the way it is. So at the moment, what I'm doing, so you do whatever you want with your own money. So this is what I'm doing. It's not to be taken as financial advice, obviously. This is a very risky company. Well, it's not that risky, but it's a very overvalued company at the moment. So you've got to really do your own research. This is just my opinions on what I'm doing. I've looked into the company. I really like the CEO. I like what they're doing. I think it's a huge market and huge markets that they're entering. So there is enormous potential, but this enormous potential is reflected in the price for the stock at the moment. So it is an expensive stock. So just be careful. Don't put the house in if you want to invest. But what I'm doing, I've opened a small initial position. If it goes down, I'll be happy to buy more. But I'm interested in keep researching this company and following its story. I'll probably make it a small to medium sized portion of my portfolio. I like growth stocks like this, and I think it is a great company, but yeah, obviously the price is very high. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was informative, and if you have any thoughts about Square stock, let me know in the comments. Please drop me a like. That would be hugely appreciated, and make sure to subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.